Heyo Friendos, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 2 looks 1 palette video featuring the Star Wedding palette. The first look I'll be doing is very wedding appropriate. It's nice, soft, and feminine. Then the second look is the one that you see right here. It's very glam and not so wedding appropriate. Well, I don't know. I mean, however you do your wedding, you do you. You do you. Friendos, if you are into Jeffree Star cosmetics or if you're just interested in the brand in general, I cover a lot from the brand on my channel. Please go ahead and subscribe, and we're going to get into today's video right now. Friendos, just stay tuned. So I thought we'd do a little bit of an experiment today. I've got the Star Wedding liquid eyeshadow. This is in their white shade. And if you guys missed my first video on this palette, then you might not know that one of my shades came extremely broken. So I'm not going to be holding my palette up today. I'm just going to be saying the name of the shade, and hopefully you guys can follow along. Okay, so the first shade is going to be Seating Chart, and this one is a nice peachy waffle cone color. And on my Sonia G Blender Pro, this is going to go into my crease. So if you guys were kind enough to weather the storm through my last video, I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness, what a nightmare. I did not have my sister in studio. I didn't realize I was giving everyone just a full-on boob shot with half my forehead cropped out. So I'm sorry about that, guys. I do have her in studio with me today, so if that were to happen again, just know that it's her fault. And I'm glad that this shade is in the palette because this is a nice, soft, skin-like peach. And I feel like we don't see this enough in eyeshadow palettes these days. They were showing up everywhere in palettes, I feel like 4 years ago. And now none of the recent releases has had a shade like this. Or at least not from the brands that I buy from. My sister's over here in the background yelling at me and saying that there's a shade like that in the, what is that palette? In the Nude Prism palette. I'm telling her it's not the same. She disagrees. No, it's not, because that one's made in China. Next, we'll go in with Save the Date. Now, this is a soft neutral taupe. And this time, I'm not going to go as high up as what I went with Seating Chart. Okay, now that that's down, I'm going to spray my brush and apply Flower Girl. And this is a nice rosy gold. This looks really similar to a shade that I have in a Patrick Ta palette. So I'm not taking this all the way into my inner corner. I'm probably going to apply a white matte shade, but we're just going to do something a little bit different here today. Then right above this rosy gold shade, we'll go in with the shade Wedding Rings. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side. And I would describe this shade as being a soft tan with a slightly golden sparkle. Now I'm going to work a little bit to marry these two together. Now in the outer corner, to give this a little bit of depth, I think we should go in with Soulmate. And that's a nice medium cool tone brown. Now guys, I'm going to repeat what I just did on this eye. So I gotta tell y'all, I don't hate this white liquid shadow as a base, but I don't really love it either. I feel like it's just a tad too tacky, and the shades were a little bit harder to work with versus yesterday when I did not have this base down. So I just want to make sure that I made myself clear. I wanted to still be able to see the distinction in the rose versus the pure brown that we see up here. Even though these two are being married together, they're still their own person. I feel like I got this same weird phenomenon when I tried to use the House Labs as a base. I feel like the pigments just don't show up as well, and it makes everything harder to blend. It's almost like the base is just soaking up the shadow. Okay, and then in my inner corner, I am going with the widest, palest peach shade, Grand Entrance. Okay, I'm going to dust around with a clean brush and try to get rid of any harsh lines. Okay, friendos, so at this point I'm going to line and lash and I'll be right back to you guys. I just did a nice little accent lash on the outer corners, just, you know, because this is supposed to be a soft look. Not everyone wants to look bold and glamorous on their wedding day like I would. So I'm going to finish this off with something else really soft. So I'm going in with Makeup Forever in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. And then Pinky Brown from Makeup by Mario. So I would probably wait till the reception for something like this because yes, it will transfer on your spouse. And while this will transfer on your husband to be, why I say I would wait till the reception is this is very soft, comfortable, and blurring. It's one of the most beautiful liquid lip formulas I've ever used. And it also wears really well through eating and drinking. So you might see your lip prints on your wine glass, but it's not going to look like anything's missing from off your lips. You don't get any streaks, you don't get any flaking or bare spots on your lips. For sure, I would use Makeup by Mario, the Cozy Lip Cream, at my reception. Okay, then lastly, this is an experiment, you guys, not a recommendation. So I have Peach Fizz Loose Highlighter. This is from AB8. I've got a pretty nice contour going on today, so I thought I might use this as a blush light. And if I end up hating it, well, makeup washes off. Okay, so going in with Peach Fizz. Now, this looked really dark and pink, but on my face, I don't really see that. I just see the gold. And friendos, this completes our first look. I'm gonna go wash off this eyeshadow and I'll be right back to you guys. Okay, so let's get into look number 2. So friendos, we'll start out with Tuxedo Black, the black matte shade in the palette. Now, as far as all the shades that I've tried so far, I think this one is the most dusty, but it's not bad. And even though this one is more glam, I think this will be one of the easier and faster eye looks to do with the palette. So I'm not concerned with precision right now, I'm just concerned with placement. So I'm going to go in with the tan shade called Committed. And that's just going into my crease. I'm not doing a lot of circular motions here. I'm doing more windshield wiper motions because I don't want to get this up too high. Then on the same refer brush, I'm going to go in with Devotion, which is the cranberry shade. And as you guys can tell, this is just going on the center portion and blending into the black. We will be cutting a crease shortly, so I'm not that concerned with precision. Now with a fluffy brush from Crown, I'm going to go in with Seating Chart, the waffle cone shade. And I barely want this to show up. I'm just using this to blend out the edges here. Okay, friendos, now let's cut that crease. Friendos, I'm going to cut this crease with some concealer and my Natasha Denona number 1. I'm not going to cut the whole thing, just up to the mid mark. I might leave a little bit of a slant just to keep it interesting. Now, while it's still a tad bit tacky, I'm going to go in with Cut the Cake. Now, this was the shade that came broken in my palette, so my experience with this might be different from yours since I had to try to repress this. I'm going to go ahead and spray that and just hope for the best. Ooh, so intense. So now I'm going to go in with Polyamorous, because you know that fits well with weddings. And we're gonna go in with the magenta glittery shade. Can you imagine getting married to like more than one person at a time? I know that some people make it work, but good grief, you guys. Like, I can't even keep one relationship going. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with First Dance. It's somewhere in between a brick red and a dark purple. Now, friendos, the time has come. I'm going to do my eyeliner and lashes off camera, and I'll be right back to you. So guys, since this isn't really going down the alley of marriage, I think I will use the Panoramic Empress lip liner from Hourglass. It's kind of loud, like this look. And then another liquid lipstick that I love, of course, is the MAC Powder Kiss. This is in the shade A Little Tamed. And this honestly wears very, very similarly to the Makeup by Mario Cozy Lip Cream. The Cozy Lip Cream is just slightly more comfortable on the lips. Okay, I didn't notice this before, but I actually do have some of the black shade as fallout down here. So I know this goes without saying. I'm sure all of you would do your eye makeup first before doing your foundation if you were actually getting married. But just to cross all my T's and dot all my I's, yeah, absolutely do that because I do have some fallout down here. Okay, so I'm going to go clean that up and then I'm going to slap on my lashes because I know I said I was already going to do that, but I got distracted and didn't do it. So I'll be right back. And now, friendos, for blush. I was going to see if I could use something from the Star Wedding palette. Might be a little tricky, but we're gonna go for it. So we'll dab into Mrs. Star, that bright pink, and then Cake Topper. So I'm gonna do 2 parts Cake Topper to 1 part Miss Star. Okay, now to brush away the fallout with some powder. I keep stealing my sister's translucent loose setting powder from Cab Cosmetics. I don't think that this is worth the price. This was over $30 and it's available at Walmart, which just sounds insane for a Walmart brand. Also, it's made in China, so not really my vibe. But we did get it, or she did get it in a subscription box, and I keep finding myself reaching for it. So what does that say about me? I don't really know. What does it say about me?
You got it for free.
I got it for free. So guys, this is the second look. Let me know what you all think of it. Well, that concludes today's silliness. Let me know what you think about this. So friendos, thank you all so much for choosing to spend your free time here with me. It really means the world to me. Thank you for allowing me to redeem myself after that first video that I put up on this palette. I hope that today gives you a little bit more insight on what you can do with the Star Wedding palette. Sure, you can do something sweet, modest, and wedding appropriate, or you could go full glam like this. The palette has a lot of versatility. If you did like today's video, the best way to let me know is by giving me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not done so already, because if not, we'll both have to live in the shadows of never knowing what could have been. Okay, guys, have a phenomenal rest of your day. Goodbye.